Before there was anything, there were the primeval waters. These seas were vast and deep and dark. All that was non-being. Over time, these waters produced a single golden egg, which floated over the waters for 9 months. After 9 months, the egg burst open, and there was Prajapati standing in its shell. Prajapati was neither male nor female, but an all-powerful combination of both. He rested there on the golden shell for almost a year without speaking or moving. After 1 year, he broke his silence. The first word he spoke, the word, became the earth. The next word he uttered became the sky, which he divided into seasons. Prajapati could see forever, from the beginning of all life, and even to his own death, which would be 1,000 years later. Yet Prajapati was lonely, and he desired a mate in this vast emptiness. He divided himself into 2 beings, a husband and a wife, and together they created the first gods, the elements, and mankind. By these acts of creation, time was created. Prajapati became the embodiment of time itself. The first to be born was Agni, the god of fire. Once there was fire, there was also light, which Prajapati separated into day and night. Other gods were born, including the evil Asuras and the beautiful dawn. Prajapati was sure to separate good from evil, and hid his evil offspring deep into the earth. However, Prajapati desired his lovely daughter Dawn, and as she was on earth in the form of a doe, he came to her disguised as a stag. She tried to flee, but Prajapati was too fast and powerful. She later gave birth to all the cattle of the world. The other gods watched, filled with horror. Prajapati's act was disgraceful, breaking the most profound taboo they could imagine. In anger, they created the monstrous Rudra, who hunted Prajapati down all over the earth. When he found him, he shot him with an arrow and flung him into the dark sky. Thus Prajapati became the deer's head, Capricorn, constellation in the night sky. Dawn returned to the sky, but never got too close to the night.
Long ago, before man or any animals roamed the earth, there was just darkness, and one very large seed. The seed sank into the earth, and from it long reeds began to grow. They were called Uthlanga, which means the source of all things. Slowly, one reed grew into a man. It was Unkalunkalu, first man and the creator of all things. The larger he grew, the heavier he became. Finally, when he was fully grown, he broke off from the reed and fell to earth. As he strolled up and down the earth, he saw other growing reeds forming into men and women. Unkalunkalu broke off the first men and women, medicine men and their dreams. He pulled off cattle and fish and birds and fierce creatures. He created streams and mountains, lakes and valleys, wind and rain, and the sun and the moon. Unkalunkalu created everything we see around us today. He taught the first men and women how to hunt and make fire, how to make clothes and prepare corn. He gave all the animals their names. When all of this was done, Unkalunkalu sent the languid chameleon out into the world with the message that his people will never die. The chameleon plodded on his mission, slowly, slowly, slowly. After several days, Unkalunkalu became impatient and sent a speedy lizard out into the world with the message that death was on its way. The swift lizard quickly overtook the chameleon and arrived at the village first. Once the lizard brought its message to the first people, death arrived shortly thereafter. It has never left mankind since.
Before time began, there was only darkness and the goddess Namu, the primordial sea. She gave birth to Anki, the universe. At first they were heaven and earth in one, a vast mountain of soil and sky mixed together. Anki produced Enlil, the air. Enlil separated his parents into An, the sky, and Ki, the mother earth. He pulled his mother down to form solid ground and pushed his father up to form the heavens. He then created the moon god Nana, who created the sun god Utu. Enlil and Ki, air and earth, joined to produce Enki, the god of water, vegetation, and wisdom, and the lord of the universe. Enki gathered together part of the primordial sea and squeezed it into the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. He caused there to be cattle on the earth and fish in the rivers. He built marshland around the rivers and made the soil rich and fertile. Meanwhile, in heaven, the gods were having a large drunken banquet. They decided to create humans. The first race was made of clay and weak in body and mind. At the time, everyone was too drunk to see how poorly they were made. The humans descended to live on Enki's earth. Before long, it became clear that this race had too many problems to survive and be a credit to the gods who created them. The gods decided to destroy them all in a great flood. Only 2 people were worthy enough to survive, a man named ZULU and his wife. Enki came to them with instructions. They were to build a wooden ark and hide there until the floodwaters subsided. The gods redirected the Tigris and Euphrates and caused a violent flood, washing all the humans to their deaths. The storms raged day and night until there was no dry land. ZULU and his wife were safe in their wooden ark. They wept at the loss of mankind. Finally, the rivers shrank back, and the land around them re-emerged. ZULU and his wife began a new generation of men and women and set up their villages on the shores of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers.